So welcome to the first commentary on Series 1, Episode 1 of Bad Influence. This is probably the first time I've seen this since it was first broadcast back in the early 90s. So I'm expecting a bit of a nostalgia trip, if nothing else, for computer games.
Hiya, welcome
there
to
he
Bad
is,
Influence, the only place
straight off the bat, Andy Crane.
Screenshots of the very latest games. Check this out, Streets of Rage 2.
Come on, don't disappoint me. Hey, there's Violet Berlin. Awesome.
Ninja on the SNES.
Blown away. Immediate nostalgia trip. Whoa, hang on. Is that a Apple Vision Pro? Quite timely though. I'm watching this, to be honest. Graphics are a bit different though.
Z Wright, our American reporter, and we'll be seeing more of Z, including the rest of his face, later on in the programme.
Awesome. Let's get started. Look at this.
Games, then the Bad Influence Studio is the place to be.
Really techie 90s techie show.
Everything from this.
Is that a...
Remember this? The 10-year-old BBC Micro.
10 years old. I had one of them at school.
That Kate's got here.
Dates me a
It's called
bit
a quick shot supervision. What are you playing on it?
Shot supervision. Say that when you're drunk.
Whatever you've got, it'll be here
Never heard of
somewhere. This one's a Neo Geo.
Oh, Neo Geo, always wanted one of those, but you could just like, they were like Japanese import back in the 90s. Never going to get one of them back then, let alone now, to be honest.
We're created on a paint package like this one.
Is that an Amiga?
If you use a computer to do your painting, you
I
can
think
do all
it's
the
an
things that
Amiga.
pens and papers
I was
can
never
do,
really a big
and
Amiga
more.
fan, to be honest. I was always a
For
console
example,
person.
I can do
You kind of had
here,
console people, and you had Amiga,
size or shape,
precursor to PC people, and then never the two shall meet.
and that O's not
Always
very
kind of
good
reminds me
there,
of the
so I
paint
can
packages
choose
you had at
any
school,
shape
these
I
kind of
want.
things. Very kind of,
Be it
this
a
is all you
square
can
or circle,
access
and get
kind
the
of programs.
perfect
That and
circle
Solitaire.
there.
That was about all
And
you
then
could
I
actually play
fill it
around
in
with at school
really
during
quickly.
IET lessons.
And instead of using rulers for lines, you can say where you want your line to begin, where you want it to end, let
is it
go,
me?
and hey presto. And
Is that all going to fit on
you
the
can use
page?
this airbrush facility as well. Oh, got a mistake there. Get rid of it in a flash. You can do airbrushing, which basically is spray painting, which you definitely wouldn't be able to do at home otherwise. And the final one. Let's see. And one of my favourites is this. It's called colour cycling.
A little bit of
And then
the
you
old
can save it
VHS recording tracking
or
there.
print it out
Beggars can't be accusers.
and keep forever. Actually, this one's not very good, is it? I think I'll give it to Andy as a present.
I don't think Rolf Harris has got too much to worry about, has he? Well, we're looking at other paint packages in more detail later
That's
in the
completely
series,
changed.
including this, which is Super Mario Paint, which will be
is that
available for your SNES.
That's a
Christmas.
US
In the
SNES.
meantime,
That's not
though,
a
we do want to
like
hear
a
from you.
UK
If you've got
SNES.
computer-generated pictures,
Interesting.
animations,
I suppose it wasn't out.
graphics,
Was it
anything we
out
show on
then?
telly, we'll
Must have
get
been out
this
early
one.
90s.
The Bad Influence T-shirt.
Hey,
We'd also like to hear from you. Well, if you've got any views
Well
on
done,
anything
lad.
to do with computer games, consoles, video
The thing
games,
is with this,
and we'll give you the address to
I
write
always
to at the end of the
remember
programme.
Andy
In
Crane
fact, the
jumping
address
for
and loads of
BBC
other
to
bits of information will be
CITV.
in what we're going to call
It was like
the
a big
data
thing
block.
back then. It was
To access
like
all you
someone
need is
jumping
this,
from
your
Arsenal to
humble
Tottenham
video recorder.
or
Video the last minute or so of the programme,
other
including the credits,
relevant
which is the boring
sports
bit where
teams. It was a
everybody
big thing.
knows
He
their
went from
names goes across the
BBC
screen.
to
Then when you've done
CITV.
that,
It's like, whoa, Andy
rewind
Crane.
it
He's always been in the broom
and play
cupboard,
it
but now he's
back.
over there.
But don't play it back at full speed.
Oh, this is the data blast. This is the video thing.
Your frame advance, if you've got one on your video.
We never had frame advance on my video at home, so we couldn't do this. It was either pause or play, so you had to pause it, read it, pause it, read it, pause it, read it.
Nam Rood here. If it exists, I've played it.
Nam
Quite
Rood.
frankly, you haven't.
I know this. It was in the anagram for doorman, backwards. I remember that. I remember reading that somewhere.
Sonic. When he appears on the screen and waves his finger, press up, down,
Hey,
left,
the ultimate
right,
cheat
and
back in
quickly
the day
play
when
and
you couldn't
start
save
putting together.
games.
All the levels
And you used to
are
get
then
these
listed on the
codes
screen,
at the
so you
end
can
of each
select
level.
just which level you like.
And this one was the
Violet,
one where you
this
kind
is
of
what level 2
could
looks
jump
like.
to the next level.
Charming, that
Brilliant.
Nam Rood. You can't believe a word he says, except when it comes to tips and
Look
tricks.
at the 90s
and there'll be more
fashion
coming up
there.
in Data Blast at the end of the programme, so watch
So
out
we're going back
for
in
that.
fashion soon, I guess,
Now,
soon.
every week
If it's
we
not already in
review the
fashion
latest
now.
games. Our reviewers are all keen players, and they'll be trying out the games and letting us know what they think. This week's main review is Joe and Matt Caveman Ninja on the SNES.
Vaguely remember
it's a
that one.
prehistoric action action-adventure.
Never played it.
Okay, this is great fun to play. It's really fast. It's good graphics. Oh, I've just fallen down a hole. When this happens, a little...
Oh,
angel
these are
comes
corny.
in. You jump over, you've got to hit all the pterodactyls, falling down another hole.
Is he actually playing this, do you think? He must be.
What you've got to do is you've got to kill all these Neanderthal cavemen.
Oh,
And
do you
they
think
stole
they
all
couldn't...
your women folk. So you've
They
got
couldn't have
fast
given him a
level,
script, could they? They're going to have to have been
good things to do.
playing.
Jumping, hitting
Oh,
things
that-
with your clubs. Basically, you've just got to
Okay,
run
so
through
was
and
that the
save
top
everyone.
£49?
Okay,
How much
now
is that in
level
today's
6.
money?
This
That
is
must
where
be
you're in the
what?
frozen
I don't know,
cabin.
70
I've
odd
just
quid?
picked up
Something like that?
some
49
rocks,
quid. I always remember
weapons.
console
It's a
games being
great fun game.
ridiculously
The graphics are
expensive.
smooth and cartoony. The sound
Like
effects are
49.
excellent, especially on this level where
Yeah,
it
that was
sounds
on the
like you actually are in
expensive
cabin.
side.
I just hit 2 Neanderthal men with my rocks, and now I'm running up to get the bonus, which is extra health.
Oof.
All the platforms are slippy level, which makes it give that added realism. The music is different on every level, and that adds to the
Screams
game.
of generic
It makes it
platformer
really addictive,
to me.
and it's easy to pick up as well. It gets progressively harder as you go on. There's different dinosaurs, lots of different baddies, and it stops you getting bored. And the good thing about this game is, if you've got a friend, there's also a 2-player option. One of the best things
No
about
online
it is
gaming
these
back then,
end-of-level
it was
sprites.
all
It's great fun
couch
to play,
co-op,
and I'd probably
as they
buy
call
it.
it these
Looking forward
days.
to seeing it on the Game Boy.
still 49 quid.
I like the caveman idea, and the birds are brilliant.
It's such a simple game, but it's really brilliant, and the graphics and sound are great.
So the final scores for Joe and Mac.
How
The
much
boys
did it
gave
get?
4 out of 5, and the girls gave it 4 out of 5.
I always like this. I think it's quite cool. You get the nice split and the scores. That's
Go and
always
get a
quite
pen
a
and
nice
paper
way
for
of doing
this
it.
one. Pauses. Continues. The word of the week is level code. Well, actually, it's
more
2
level
words.
codes.
It's a way of jumping levels that you've already completed in a game. For example,
Again,
this is a game
no
called
saving
Dr.
the games.
Franklin on the Game Boy.
I can't remember when the
At
saving
the
the games
start of the
first
game,
came in.
you can choose to
But
enter a level code. Of course,
I remember you
there's
used to
only
get the
2 ways
memory
you can discover the
blocks.
code.
Was that
At first
PlayStation?
level, they're displayed on
Something
the
like
screen.
that.
Or you can copy this down. You'll start on level
Let's
4,
say.
Triassic.
Hey, look, Andy, I'm on level 4.
That's very good, Violet. Time now for our first American report from Z Wright, who's on a
Z
sightseeing
Wright.
tour of Seattle.
Is it Zed right? Really?
Seattle, capital
I don't know
of
if these
Northwest
carried on
America.
in Series
Often
2.
called the
I
Emerald
vaguely
City,
remember
Seattle curves
him
around the rim
from
of
Series
Elliott
1.
Bay.
But it was always kind of the thing of the unattainable technology. Look at that. Wow. So this was 1992. So how many years ago was that? 2002, 2012, 31 years as of recording. Look how technology's gone on with the Vision Pro coming out next year.
That has to be my best sightseeing trip ever, and I didn't have to walk a step. That fly-through view of Seattle
It's
only
just like-
exists inside a computer.
Like an
but it
Oculus,
felt
isn't it?
pretty
Look
real
at
to
the
me.
screens on
It's
the
called virtual
eyepieces.
reality, and it's one of the newest ways for computers
Oh,
to
I know.
present complicated information.
It's like
Until
you know
recently,
those
you could only communicate with
VR
your
headsets you used to get in
computer in a much more
arcades, like
boring way.
neatly in
Using
London.
it
You didn't get it where I was
demands
from,
a keyboard or a mouse. For
and you
many
could play
jobs,
those
this is still the
weird
best way to use them.
fighting
But some
battle
people need to
game
cope with more
pixelated
information
stuff.
than can be
Reminds me, I
contained
guess
on
it's all the
flat screen.
same technology as that, with just really beige computers like that
Now
one.
you can actually wear your computer. You're no longer on the outside looking in. The images and sounds go straight to your senses, giving you a complete
It's crazy.
experience. There's
So going
one
back to
TV
then,
screen for
that
each
must have been
eye,
so
and these are
groundbreaking
stereo
future stuff.
earphones.
Now looking at it, it
And
just
the
looks
knob on top
naff,
of the
but it's
helmet
just
is
weird.
called
What's
a policeman.
the technology
And it
now
lets the
going to look like in
computer
another
track
30
your
years' time?
movement.
That's what I want to know, because it's going to be completely different yet again.
And there's a whole series of
I wonder
commands
if
that can
Z
unlock
Wright
secret
ever did
worlds.
anything with himself. I'll have to go and Google him, find out who he was. What's he done with his life? What has Z done with his life? Or is this
is
the?
data glove. It uses fiber optics to
No,
tell
that's
the
a-
computer which way you want to
That's
go.
a
Up,
Nintendo
down,
Power
forward,
Glove,
or
mate.
backwards.
Oh. Yeah, I wonder
These
what he's done with
fantastic
his life.
gloves
Maybe
are
he's
not
out
just fun
there
for flying.
somewhere
They demonstrate
doing stuff like
important
this, or
new
maybe he's just doing
developments
an
in computer
accountancy job
science.
somewhere
They
in the
were
middle of
made
nowhere in
here
the
at
States. Who
Seattle's
knows?
Human Interface Technology Laboratory, or HIT Lab.
HitLab was set up because there was a demand for this technology in many fields.
I wonder if this
Architects
also
wanted it,
influenced
doctors
kids
wanted it.
like me who watched
Virtual
it to go
technology
into
allows
VR
scientists to get inside
and
the human
technology.
body.
These kind
You
of
can
this was like the
fly around
first
inside a perfect replica
avenue
of a human
into
eye,
these kind of
pulling bits
things.
off when you need to get a closer look.
The purpose of the virtual
Ugh.
eye was to eventually
Virtual eye.
develop a simulator.
Again, you
for
look at it
eye
now,
surgeons.
and
We're doing this in
you
conjunction
can do
with
all
a group
sorts of
called
stuff with
Orbis
technology
International.
in
Eye
healthcare.
surgeons that,
And this was like
that go around the
groundbreaking
world
back
to
in the
various
90s.
developing countries and do surgery on blind people and teach the local folks how to do these procedures. So eventually, people learning these procedures will learn them in virtual reality. They will go in and they will see what looks like a real eye, and they'll be able to practice and be able to correct their mistakes without having dire consequences on real people.
This virtual model of Seattle's Henry Art Gallery shows how VR can be used by architects. to
Now,
design
I
buildings
saw,
to precise scale.
when I was a kid at school, there was
Virtual
stuff
worlds
like
give
this
them a
going
much better
around where you
sense
could
of real
visit
space than flat
art galleries. Not in
design
VR, we didn't have a VR headset, so we weren't that posh at school. But you could
the
do it on
Hit Lab isn't
CD-ROM.
just interested in pictures.
That reminds me
Sound that appears to
really,
come from
was
the
it in
right
Carter or
direction to
something,
make the computer world
which was
seem
running
much
off a
more
CD.
real. This
Catch the
Shark Food
fish.
game uses 3D sound, so the hunter can
I'm sorry,
work
but
out
this
where the
does
sharks
remind me
are
of some of the
coming from.
really dodgy looking VR games you can still get today.
At the moment, this is
Obviously,
just
the graphics are a lot
prototype
better, but you know what I mean? It's the
science
same
lab.
concept of
But a
very
big game
simple
company is
gameplay
already working with the Hit Lab.
to
Who
work
knows?
with a
One day
VR
we
headset.
may take a dip with Mario or Sonic.
We done a Mario Sonic VR? Don't know.
The future's looking
Whoa,
really good.
look at the size
Instead
of it.
of buckets and wires, you'll be able to slip into cyberspace as easy as putting on a pair of specs. This is Z-Right for Bad Influence in Seattle. Sorry, in cyberspace.
A
Cyberspace.
very happening place to be.
Oh, like those sunglasses. Get me a pair of them.
Lawnmower Man, you might have thought that virtual reality was more realistic than that. But these pictures show us exactly where virtual
Lawnmower
reality is
Man.
at the moment.
Was that out at the
Just
same
special
time?
effects.
It's also very difficult to
I've never
convey
seen
what
that
virtual
film,
reality is really like on telly.
No,
because
I
it's a
genuinely have never
three-dimensional
seen
thing.
Lawnmower
The
Man.
telly, of course, is only two-dimensional. But for what it's worth, take my opinion, it's excellent. Now on Bad Influence, this week's news and previews.
Oh, here we go. What was coming out? Ah, Sonic
back, and
2.
This time he's brought a friend. We're playing the Mega Drive version here.
Oh, was that
Once
not
again,
out
you
then?
take Sonic on a high-speed chase through lots of levels to collect rings.
I
His
must have
foxy
got
friends
that
called
then.
Tails because he's got
Was it
two. And in
92?
the two-player
Christmas
option, you can actually
92?
take a character each and race through the
Must
levels.
have been.
Sonic goes faster than he did on the first
I
game.
definitely
and
remember getting it
Tails can
with.
use
I got the
both
Mega
those tails
Drive
fly
and
like
I
a
got
helicopter.
Sonic 2 at the same
version is
time.
scheduled for worldwide release on November the 24th.
There we
Look out
go.
for that. Don't forget also
Christmas
the Future Entertainment
92.
Show from the 5th
Ooh,
to the 8th of
Earl's
November.
Court.
shows for.
That doesn't
All the
exist
latest
anymore.
Video games and virtual reality will be there, and so will the Bad Influence
Wow.
film crew. Future will be hosting the first Bad
Future
Influence National
Entertainment
Games
Show.
Championship. The preliminary
Look at
round
that.
started across the country last week, and judging by the prizes, the
Amiga
Manchester winners
again?
get treasure walked away
Joystick.
with. The finger fiddling and joystick juggling was well worth it.
Mario is going to reappear in Super Mario Kart on the SNES.
Oh, Super Mario Kart wasn't even
Plumber
out.
has taken to the race
playing
track and
those
has brought his Mushroom World friends
now on
and
the
enemies
Switch.
with him.
Mario's
Crazy,
been very
isn't
busy as he appears again here in Mario Land 2 on the Game Boy, due out early December. It promises to have all the fun of Mario Land and
Wow.
more. This time you can see Mario twizzle
I
and spin.
had a Game
and
Boy,
even
but it never
fly
really
when he
was a
gets some
Game
bunny
Boy
ears.
player. I was
If
more
you
of an
still think
indoors
gameplay would
console
require
player.
Too much effort. Meet the Turbo Touch 360 control pad.
Ooh,
It takes
bit
the
part.
strain
That's a
out
bit
of
fancy.
pad bashing as it's touch sensitive.
Oh, has it got like a
They're
touch
pushing to
thing?
improve your
Oh, I
scores
never
by
knew
having
that.
you play longer. Versions to fit most machines should be in the shops by January and will
No,
cost around
interesting.
£20.
And now for a mega first. Streets of Rage 2, the unfinished version.
Streets
All the
of
street action
Rage.
you'd
Yeah, I played that on the Mega
expect, plus
Drive.
secret weapons hidden inside ordinary looking objects. This 16 meg game, the biggest ever for the Mega Drive, should be in the shops in January.
Yeah, I always like the big dude.
Remember
Can't
what
remember
you
his
saw it
name.
first here on Bad Influence. Now for some more games reviews.
First up
this?
this week is Putty for the Amiga. It's a game like nothing you've seen before. A mix of platform, puzzles,
Again,
and
I was never an
adventure
Amiga person.
together.
Never really saw
to
the
collect spots,
appeal of the Amiga.
which are just
Games are cheaper though,
robots,
$25.99, whatever that is in real money today.
so that they can go back to their home planet. Putty's a bit hard to control because it does so many things when it
She must be
squishes
really
and
playing that.
climbs.
She's talking because she's
I
not
like
looking at the
Putty's
camera.
graphics because the colours make Putty stand out.
Hang on a minute. I vaguely
Backgrounds
remember
are
seeing
good
this.
with the trees.
Must have been in the
I like the
shops.
sound effects, the way it screams.
Where did you
and
buy an
the
Amiga?
gun shoots.
Did you buy it
Over
from
there, there's a punk rocker.
like
with,
games console type
some
shops, or did you
sunglasses
buy
and
it
a
from
gun
like
and trying to
Dixon's
kill
or
me.
something like that? I
I'd
genuinely don't know.
buy Putty, and I've already recommended
Argos,
it to one of
maybe?
my friends.
It's too sluggish. Great graphics and sound.
Whoa, look at that 90s hairstyle.
The graphics are really good, especially for Cat, and it's not too fast and it's pretty playable. And the scores for Putty, the boys gave it 2 out of 5, and the girls gave it 4 out of 5.
Ooh, contentious.
Next is Super Smash
What is
TV
that?
for the Game Gear. It's a classic
Oh,
arcade
Game
shoot 'em up
Gear.
based on a futuristic
Oh, Smash
TV game
TV,
show.
I remember
Already
that,
appears in
yeah.
other formats.
Never
Here's
played it.
Rakesh.
The graphics are kind of dull.
Oh,
The
Game
idea behind
Gear.
it is quite simple. Just destroy everything on the screen.
Just
collect
8
power.
batteries. Was it
This is the
4
Neatoid man, and he's the end
double A's, or was it 8 double A's, or something like that? And you get about 10 minutes gameplay, then you have to check
You need a lot of credits to get past him. I've been spending approximately 10
Mate,
minutes just to
you're not doing
complete
very
this guy,
well.
and
You keep getting
I'm
squashed
not
by
really
him.
getting very far, or I don't really know if I am. Oh, I'm dead. I wouldn't really buy Smash TV. There are better games out for the Game Gear, and personally I prefer Pac-Man to it.
Oh, traditionalist, he likes Pac-Man.
It was really difficult to see what was going on.
Come on.
It's okay, but the directional fire isn't very good on the Game Gear.
And the scores for Super Smash TV, the boys only gave it 2 out of 5, and the girls 3 out of 5.
Yeah, well. Over there, Super Smash TV.
And
What's this?
finally, it's Battletoads.
Oh,
Here's
Battletoads!
Amanda.
I remember
Graphics are really
this.
fun. And
Because
cartoons
the
and
graphics
really
were
put the
like
aggression out in them.
hailed as
And one
being
hidden in the
something
moment is one of the
revolutionary because it's for
monsters.
the NES.
And
Yeah,
you've
for
got
the
to
NES.
kill it twice in order for it to actually die.
$42.99 for a NES game.
You can hit them with this instead.
That was like
This is level 2
prime
and the
SNES
gameplay
game.
is completely different. The graphics are really amazing. I mean, just look at these pictures, and the music isn't irritating, which
Did
is really
Battletoads
good
have a
as well.
cartoon? I think they did, because it was kind of like in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles ilk, wasn't it? And it was kind of a response
Games
to
is
that.
amazing, and I definitely buy it.
The graphics are really good, but I'm not that keen on it. It's just gratuitous violence.
Oh, gratuitous violence.
This is a good game.
She likes gratuitous
And
violence, I
the
bet.
scores for Battletoads, the boys gave it 4 out of 5, and the girls gave it 4 out of 5.
Yay, excellent. Car Battletoads.
Tip of the week. I hope
Zool.
you still got that pen and paper
Now, I
ready.
wasn't an Amiga person,
Remember,
but I'll remember
never
Zool.
share a
Was it-
joypad with someone who's been eating treacle sandwiches.
Was it also on something else?
Zool is the best-selling game this week on the Amiga, and here's how to cheat at it. When the
It
game's
might be on the
loading, you get this
Jaguar,
screen. Type in
possibly.
Goldfish. The screen flashes. Well, it would, wouldn't it? Because you're now in cheat mode. Keys F1 to F6 let you choose any world that you want. There are some other cheats on the other keys, but you'll have to find those out for yourselves.
Thanks, Nam. He'll be turning up every week with tips and hints and cheats. But don't let that put you off. There'll be some interesting stuff too.
Yeah, we're going to be asking some serious questions of the game's
Ah,
manufacturers,
Violet.
like why do console cartridges cost up to £65?
Exactly,
Bad influence isn't just
65
about
quid.
games. We'll also be
There's a
finding
question
out
I need
about
to
all the
answer.
other
Why were they so
exciting things computers
expensive?
can do. Like this, for instance.
And now for something completely different.
Oh,
I'm sorry, I'll say that again. And now
Very
for somebody
fancy.
completely different.
That wasn't quite as painful as it looked. It's a computer trick called morphing, which is short for metamorphosing. You've probably
There
seen it
you
in
go.
commercials or films. This is Eeyore. Eeyore's brilliant. He's a very clever little robot. He learns just like we do by trying things out, making mistakes and learning from them. Later in the series, we'll show you how he
Is that
learns
like
to
plugged
hop
into
like
an
that,
extension
all by
lead?
himself.
And don't forget the Bad Influence magazine, available
Ah.
from mid-November. It's packed full
Now,
of
I've been
tips
looking
and
for this,
reviews and info on the programme.
and I
And
understand
that's about it for this week.
there's
except
only
the
like 2
competition.
issues ever
And
came
the
out.
question is as follows. What are the names of our 2 Humanosaur characters? That's those 2 on the screen behind us.
Here's a clue. The answer's not Violet and Andy, but if you think you know
Brad
what it is,
and Gina.
put it
I
on a
remember.
postcard
I
or a stuck-down
remember.
envelope and
Think
send it to
about
us
that
here
one.
at Bad Influence to reach us by next Monday, please.
No emails
First out
back
of the
then.
pack will get a Nintendo
Stick it in the
action pack
post.
with
Oh, good
Super
lord.
Scope, but better than that, you'll get a
Well
Bad
done, mate.
Influence t-shirt as well.
See, that's
Don't
a pop
forget to video
SNES
the
behind
data
it.
blast for the
So they had
address.
the
That
American
starts in a
SNES
couple
and
of
the UK SNES.
And
Brilliant.
we'll leave you with a clip of Sonic 2. It's a very special secret level that only 2 people and a blue hedgehog know the code for.
See you Saturday 9:25 for What's Up Doc. Take care. Bye-bye.
There we go, Sonic 2. Can't even remember what day this used to be on. It was a weekday after school, because I was always a BBC person, but I always turn over this. Right, there we go. That is Series 1, Episode 1 of Bad Influence. Big thank you to the YouTube channel Retro Pixels for uploading the original of this. I'll stick a link to their channel below. I think I'm going to be back with some more of these commentaries, not only for Bad Influence, but other nostalgia TV shows. So until next time, this is Tim saying cheerio for now.